One of the most interesting things about emotion management training is, first of all, we don't really do it that much in organizations. Training our employees and our leaders how to handle emotions, how to recognize them, basically to be more emotionally intelligent, is something that I don't think gets enough attention. Emotional intelligence has several factors. There are different ways of conceptualizing that, but usually some that are consistent across definitions are the idea of emotion recognition. Do you actually see what's being expressed in an accurate or at least reasonable sort of way? And perceiving what that intent is behind that, and also interpreting that emotion. So we can express different emotions for lots of reasons, and the more emotionally intelligent we are, the more we can discern sort of what that emotion means. So it's really difficult to know how to recognize and react to emotions when we're faced with major changes in the workplace. It's actually a really challenging issue for most people. It's not something that we get a lot of training on. In fact, there's often statements that make me a little bit upset that say, it's professional, keep your emotions out of it, or it's not personal, it's just business. And really those things to me are highly intertwined. There's a lot of interesting work in neuroscience, in fact, that argues and shows that if you damage parts of the brain that process emotion, you're actually not able to think cognitively very effectively. If you look at system 1 versus system 2 processing, our initial immediate reactions to things tend to be emotional, and it's only later when that system 2, that slower, more cognitive, more deliberative mindset kicks in that we can really sort of react to a situation in more of a purely cognitive fashion. But it's almost false to sort of disentangle those in a sense, and that both are what make us human, both actually contribute a lot to how we make decisions. Emotions are not irrational or unprofessional. They are what make us human. And so it's actually really, I think, important that we understand how they influence us and how we can use those for beneficial gain instead of just trying to ignore them. When we think about how we react to major changes or major issues in life, we often think, I need to get over my emotions and just forget them and put them aside. But I would argue, and the research I think supports this, it's actually healthier and better for decision making if we recognize them, accept them, interpret them, and then use them in a productive fashion. It's not something that we train our leaders or our employees to really think about, or even our students. So much. So a lot of my work is actually motivated by this idea of, instead of ignoring emotions, let's accept them. They exist, whether we like it or not, and see how we can actually leverage this in a really productive way.